Ultime Parole, Jack Savoretti, Natalie Imbruglia. Tell us all about that, Jack Savoretti.
What do you want to know?
I don't know,
how
I don't
amazing
mind
is
anything.
that? This is Natalie's first time singing in Italian, by the way, live
Pretty
on
good.
radio. So
I
that's,
mean, if people could see the phonetics
Doesn't matter.
on the
The
paper.
point is they can't, Nat. They can't.
Well, I'm
they
sure
don't
go
need
up
to know
online.
Just
how
play
the
along,
Italian
play along.
sausage is being made. Tell us about the song, please, Jack.
well, this is a song from my new album, which is Miss Italia, which is I had to make an album entirely in Italian. It was a very strange decision, but it was something physical that I just had to do.
Really?
It was. It actually goes back to the last time. Well, not the last time I was here. That was with Catherine Jenkins when we were doing For the War Child.
Yeah.
But the time before that, I came in here just after my father passed away. And I remember sitting down at this chair and you said to me, "What's happened? You've changed." And I hadn't told you anything. And we had an amazing chat. Like, that was probably the best therapy session I've ever had in my life, was just talking to you. And I
Yet
was so...
to invoice him, just so you know.
No, but I was so moved and touched by the fact that you realized that something was up, and we had a wonderful chat about it. But the only way that I was able to sort of really cope with that cataclysmic event in my life was, funnily enough, to really lean into my Italian heritage, but more than anything, to make music in Italian. Like, it wasn't cutting it when I was writing in English. I needed a challenge.
Isn't that interesting?
I needed something
Your
more.
body wouldn't let you crack on with it in English.
No, it just wasn't enough. Like, I was expressing everything I was feeling, but it just wasn't giving me the physical feeling. And then in Italian, because I think I relate my father so much to my Italian heritage, because he is the reason I have that, but it was also the music.
Yeah.
Like, music and the connection my father and I had through music, especially Italian music, was incredibly strong, incredibly visceral. And for some reason, the minute I started writing Italian, it just gave it a little bit more purpose and a little bit more value from a personal level.
Well, a lot more.
A lot more.
Yeah.
It did give it a lot more. Yeah.
It's funny because we were talking about Nietzsche, who said, life without music is a mistake. Don't you
I
love
love
that?
that.
Favorite
That's
quotes.
amazing.
Yeah, and we're talking about psychotherapy as well. You know, psychotherapy literally means soul healing. Therapy is healing, and psyche is the Greek word for soul.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so that's they say when you get to a certain point in your life, the second half of your life, then the soul comes a calling, and so you're given the first half of your life off from your soul to have fun, to make all the mistakes, and that's our job. Our job is to go out there and make these mistakes.
To be liked,
Yeah.
to sort of connect. You're
Yeah.
learning how to connect.
Of
You're
course.
so right. And then
You know.
suddenly
I'm
it
still in that
becomes about
first
you.
half. When's the anybody else?
But it's so
I
funny.
am 49.
Natalie,
Is
it's
it
so
next
funny
year?
you say that, because sometimes it can be the other way around. So the midlife crisis is one
I didn't
sort
say
of
I'm having that.
one,
Easy, Tiger.
one mindset and sort of one soul set and one whole body yes or no meeting the opposite, and it can go either way. But they do say this thing: the soul comes a knocking, you know, and if you don't hear the knocking or you want to ignore the knocking, then at night it'll come a whispering. But
love that
there's
too.
nothing you can do about it. You can ignore it for as long as you want, but it's going to come out somehow, one way or another. And if
That's
it doesn't,
very
if
true.
you don't give it oxygen, it will manifest itself in you physically. And this is probably what you were feeling.
It's exactly that, and I think you're absolutely right. Like, I'm a very loud person, so the things that really actually like mess me up the most, they are the whispers. It's not the big loud moments in my life that really change me. Like, that's kind of a home. I get that.
Yeah.
It's what I do. It's how I feel all the time. So when the whisper occurs, or when I'm even whispering, that's when my life literally changes. In that exact moment.
Well, it's funny, isn't it? It's like if you're dealing with somebody emotionally, you know, if they go high, you go low. If they go low, you go high. If somebody's going fast, then you go slow. You know, if somebody's going slow, then you go fast, and it's not dissimilar. That's a very interesting dynamic. And if you're not listening to the shouting, then there'll come a whispering. And if you're not listening to the whispers, they're going to shout.
What really surprised me, though, was how keen I was to hear. And I was really looking, and I was looking for the shouts. I was looking for the loud noises.
Yeah.
Like, I was looking for help. So I was looking anywhere I could. And what was familiar to me was the loud noises. I don't know if we're going off on a tangent.
No, I love it.
People listening like, what are these guys?
No, this is how we roll.
But it was actually while I was looking for the shouts, and I think this is exactly why I ended up making an entire album. I didn't set out to make a record in Italian. It was they were whispering to me, and even the way I was writing them, they felt like whispers. They didn't feel like declarations.
Yeah.
They just felt incredibly physical rather than emotional
It was
sharing.
feeding you.
Yeah,
feeding
it was
your soul.
totally feeding me, and it was
All
something where I had to keep it going.
So when did you apply for the job, Natalie?
Well, Jack and I, because we live in Oxfordshire, so we're kind of
Neighbours.
yeah, but our careers have intertwined from way back when. So we've
Right.
known each other, but we've become friends because we live near each other and our kids know each other. And so Jack asked me to do this, and I'm just very much the kind of person that if there's no resistance, I don't question. And I was like, this is amazing.
Feels good.
Also for my dad, being Italian, and also I am 50% Sicilian. I've had my DNA test done.
I think
And-
she's a little bit more than 50%.
Yeah,
If you hang
depending
out
on
with
what
Nat,
day
you'll
it
know
is.
she's a little bit more Sicilian than she knows.
Yeah.
And it's quite bizarre.
Everybody else knows apart from Natalie.
There might be some Russian in there. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
But it's like, it's weird to have that in you. So when I'd go to Italy, I would feel at home.
Yeah.
But when you haven't been brought up speaking the language, it's a very bizarre thing. So this was an opportunity for me to connect with that as well and make my dad proud.
Beautiful.
It's amazing how much culture is in language. And that's something that I've learned. And even what Natalie just said is a perfect example of that. Like, you can feel at home in your culture, you can relate to your culture, you can be a big part of it, and you can praise it. But when you learn the language, when you try to talk it, you really see, going back to what you were saying before, the whispers of a culture. Not so much the obvious or the aesthetic or the superficial. You really notice like what people care about when you talk, where you put the weight on a word in a sentence, the meaning of that expression.
And it just sounds so good when you sing it.
It's more often how than what, isn't it?
Totally.
Yeah,
and it's
I love
wonderful to sing. That's absolutely right.
Well, that song's awesome. It's
cheers.
awesome, honestly. Brand new
Thank you.
from Jack Savoretti, Ultime Parole. Jack's album Miss Italia out today. Today. The album's out today.
It's real. It's all real.
You got to go and pay. The album's out today. For it you must pay. The album's out today. JackSavoretti.com. Jack's European tour continues next month at Hampton Court Palace Festival. Would you consider giving it a bit the old Van Morrison and playing your whole set with your back to the audience? Go on, give it a go.
No. I mean,
You should go and play Brown Eyed Girl in Italian. Just for the people who didn't get it last time round. Have you ever come across Van Morrison?
I haven't. I'm a huge Van Morrison
So
fan,
am I.
but I have heard all the stories. I've heard all the stories. But he's not the only one. Like, I remember the first concert I ever went to was Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
And I think it was actually that concert where I realized I could do that. I mean, if I listen to a Bob Dylan album, I don't think I can do that.
Yeah.
But if you see him in concert, you think I could do that because he just doesn't care. He just doesn't care about the public. He just comes on, plays a few songs, and then walks off. And I thought that looks pretty easy.
All right, JackSavoretti.com for everything, Jack. Brand new album, tour tickets, festival tickets. NatalieImbruglia.com for what? For a co-tour with The Cause?
Oh, yes. Sorry. I opened for them in Australia.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. And then they asked me to do the UK. And I was like, let me think
This
about
is
that. Yes.
in
So
autumn,
cool.
isn't it? In the autumn?
Pardon? Yes.
Yeah, great.
Really
great.
exciting. They're incredible. So much fun to be on the road with.
Well,
And
I love we've had The Cause play for us a few times. They played at Carfest a couple of times. They give great gig, The Cause.
They certainly do.
'Cause they can do
and
it
it's
all.
funny because I remembered their songs, but then when you go and see them play and they go into the Celtic, I mean, it's just
Yeah. When
it's
they get the penny
amazing.
whistles out,
It's
Amazing
incredible.
musicians.
that's
They're
it.
amazing
It's
musicians.
punk penny
I mean,
whistling,
I was
isn't
like
it?
doing all the
Oh,
I was
it's
like,
great.
yeah, it's great.
Jack's brand new single, Ultime Parole, is out today, and his brand new album, Miss Italia, out today. And Jack has got to go at 9 o'clock because you're flying to Italy for release weekend.
Crazy release weekend. And then I'll be flying back to London, flying back out to Italy, maybe dropping
Pretty
in.
cool, isn't it, to have your Italian album out in Italy and you're out there to do PR. That's cool, man.
It's also amazing to have it out here. Like, I've been really surprised by the curiosity and the interest that people have had for this album here. So it's been moving.
All right, people loving it. Emma and Wakefield, my two favourite people singing together. I love them both so much. Sounds gorgeous. Stephen Rianne, that was the best ever piece of live music on your show. My wife and I are blown away. It makes us want to learn Italian. Carla in Belfast, what a treat to have Jack and Natalie singing live. Jack could sing the phone book to me in Italian. It would still sound bellissimo. Carla in Belfast.
So good.
Carla, that's great, but it doesn't reflect well on his lyrics, does it? Because what you're saying is, Jack, there's no need for you to write these stupid songs
take the
about
phone book.
your trauma. Jenny, oh my gosh, that song was gorgeous. Carol in Works Up. Coffee didn't do it this morning, but the live music certainly did. Amazing voices. What a sound to wake up to. Natalie, you have smashed, of course, the Masked Singer. I knew it was you from the first note.
Sure you did.
I promise you.
Did you really?
No, I promise. I was screaming at the TV and said, "It's Natalie Imbruglia. It's obvious it's Natalie Imbruglia." And it was, anyway, it doesn't matter. So they've come knocking at my door again today. I got an email this morning.
You're not meant to tell everyone that. You obviously said no.
I tell them all that. Yeah, of course. I say them every year.
You'd be amazing.
It'll be fun. But what's the process like? What happens?
Well, it's cloak and daggers. You're not allowed to tell anyone. You
Right.
have to put like gloves and a mask and a visor on
I had
to
no
get
idea,
in.
and I was seeing you a lot while you were doing it, and I had no idea you were doing
I do
it.
That's
quite well, and I really
hilarious.
find it hard to keep things quiet. So,
So you
but
arrive at the studio.
Yeah, but
tell
I-
us what happens.
I kept an accent from the time I got into my taxi all the way there.
Yeah.
And then, it's rehearsals, and even from the stage
Yes.
back into your room, anytime you need to go to the bathroom, you've got to fully...
Right, and everybody's compartmentalised, so you don't know who the other
Oh, no,
contestants
they
are.
won't. They're really strict
Right,
on
so
that.
I would have thought, well, at least the contestants can know who each
No,
other is.
they're very careful about who goes where, but I could tell Charlotte Church's voice. I was like,
It's
no
Charlotte
one else
Church.
sounds that good.
Wow.
She was amazing.
And it's a fun experience?
Loved it.
Yeah.
More than I expected to, and never been so famous that week. I walked down the street,
I
all
think
the
you
things
have.
I've done in my life. No, I'm telling you, heads were turning, and I'm like, it was only for a week, but it was great. And I got a call from Richard Branson has never called me for anything I've done, and he's like, I am just so proud of you. And I'm like, I had to put a pansy costume on. Everyone thinks I'm cool.
Panda,
That's great.
panda. All right, Jack, you're going to sing what for us next?
I'm going to sing a song called Home.
Okay. Track 2 from Jack's fourth album, Written in Scars. And
This one's in English.
Okay, thank you. Feel free to slip into Italian at any
I
point. And then Candlelight. If you want to sing them back to back, obviously we'll give you a round of applause of appreciation in between, because I know you have to catch a plane.
I got to get a plane. I've actually got to get a plane.
So we are expediting Savoretti live on the radio. He's looking at his gorgeous Italian watch on his gorgeous
In other
Italian
words, you're telling
wrist.
me to just get on with it.
No, I don't mind. The last thing I want to do is not speak in between anything, but I'm willing to do that just for the
I
sake
hate
of
that
you
I
and
have
your
to run away
flight.
because I love coming here. Like I
All
said,
right.
this is like my sort of annual therapy session. So
All right, well, listen, at the end of this, you're going to have to go. So
I am.
what do you want to say before you start singing? Because that'll be it. It'll be a cheer, the news, and then you've got to go to the airport.
Absolutely nothing, man. That I adore you, and thank you so much, guys, for having me on the show
You're
today.
very welcome.
To sing an Italian album with the amazing Natalie Imbruglia.
All right.
Thanks
An
for
Italian
asking
song.
me to do it. I've had a
Yeah.
ball doing it. It's
And
been
Natalie,
great.
thank you for coming in.
Pleasure, love being here.
And good luck with the cake sale. That's cool.
I'm not selling the cakes.
Just
I'm
making
baking them for a fundraiser for the.
Look,
the
we're
school.
we're all in sales. It just depends which part of the process you are. You are in sales. Yeah. So this is for a Sunday school bake sale.
Yeah, I just said, I'll do that, and then I had a panic attack. I know it sounds ridiculous,
It's
but
so
I'm not
funny.
a baker.
It's so funny. If all the mums gave the money they spend on ingredients to the school would make twice as much money. But anyway, none of that's important.
I've got unicorn toppings. Of
course you
Anyway.
But it's the community that matters. I mean, I agree with you, but it is also that just getting involved
But it's
and being
great.
a part of it. That's also
It's
the
great.
cool
It's great.
part.
School doesn't make any money out of it.
I mean,
It
I
doesn't
can
matter.
say
Mums
that I'm
have a
not
good
going
time.
home to bake.
I'll send.
Are you batch cooking?
This is where we need. I'm now bright red. We need a cane and just
It's a batch
drag
bake.
me off. Okay.
All right, Jack's got to get on, otherwise he's going to miss his flight, and we wouldn't want that because then he's having a bomb and it'd be our fault.
Virgin Radio.